Attention, all curious minds, innovators, and trendsetters. It's time to pause, lean in, and get ready for an extraordinary journey as we dive deep into the fascinating realms of life, technology, entertainment, and business. Let's explore, learn, and grow together. Brace yourselves, for the next thrilling episodes of Hipther Talks is about to take off. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here. We're back again this week at Hipther Talks and sticking into the blockchain sphere like we love to do it. And I have Mike Romanenko, CVO and co-founder at Kyrrex. Hope I'm pronouncing it correctly because it's double R, guys.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so if you want to look it up, it's Kyrrex. So, Mike, before we dive into the questions, we have a habit over here to ask our guest to share a few words about himself. So just let us know who you are, what you've been up to, and how did you get here?
Okay. So hi to everyone. I'm Mike. I'm, as just mentioned, co-founder and chief visionary officer of Kyrrex ecosystem. Our background, it's from 2017. We are in crypto market and building our ecosystem all over the world. We are our main targets, and I think our main points with what we are building our structure, it's transparency, security, compliance. So this is the main what we want to bring to the market, and also we expand in different directions. So we are starting from our just service companies. Also, we're doing software for different companies in blockchain and fintech. We have our small VC and working into investments into the very interesting projects. So all the time we are trying to build up the Web3 market, the blockchain market together.
All right, so thank you so much for this this complex introduction. Usually we ask about 2024 and this year, what's going to happen and everything at the end of the podcast, but we are going to switch things around and I will ask it right now. So
yes,
you know how it is. We blink twice and it's the end of the year already. So
exactly.
Now we're already in May. So as we look forward to 2024, what are some of the emerging trends in the cryptocurrency landscape that you believe will shape the future of the industry? So are these like regulations, DeFi, scaling, NFT being reborn after its death?
Yeah, it's true. It's a very good question. And I think the best option is to discuss these trends, because really this is what I really like. It's that most of the trends, they are not only related to the hype, but also they are related really to build up the ecosystem, to bring more users, to bring use cases, which is most important for the industry, is the use cases. Okay, so what we can see is that now the most trending, this is ZK rollup direction and layer 2s with the ZK technology, which is for me, I think, was the most big game changer for the future of blockchain, especially if you speak about use cases. Also, what I would like to mention, this is the gamified direction and some really good projects, because of course Gamify was born, I think, back then 2 or 3 years ago, but
Yeah.
The point was that it was more about finance, not about the very good quality of the games. And now we have different situation when you have really good games with the blockchain technology inside, with the tokenomics inside. So it means that this game is not only about the how to earn some money, but not interesting to play games, but it's really interesting to play, and also you have this facility. So for me, this is a very big step. And also we are, as a Kyrrex, we also have our game studio. We start 2 years ago to invest in game studio to develop the Web3 games. I think also will be very good to mention DeFi scaling. And for me, it's very good that I can see that a lot of institutional and classic funds start to look at DeFi segment, especially if we speak about lending protocols. For them, this is a very good opportunity, to find the spot how they can, with a very clear and transparent way, to lend the money with which is maybe for them will be much better to have than possibility to invest through their current centralized systems. So for me, this is something which is really good. And I think also very interesting thing, it's RWA. So this is something which we are trying to, how to say, to achieve since 2017. This is maybe was we have at that moment we have two ideas. One is to build a really good ecosystem for exchange and crypto fiat direction. And second one was about tokenization and of real assets and bringing a blockchain into the real world. So this is something which is we see that now it's growing, and this is fundamental because it's not only about the price of some crypto will go up or down. This is how people really start to use the blockchain technology. And of course, once they start to use technology, you have more use cases, you have more transactions, more income, and bigger price. So this is a most important part for this industry than just some meme coin hype. Of course, we have this hype. Of course, we see it
Yeah.
now. But to be honest, this is small part. And we are more interested in something more fundamental, which will be long term for the industry.
All right. So we should also, I think, mention the interoperability, which is now also very in effect. So, all right. So let's talk about the MiCA regulations, because this is something that is very interesting for everyone this year. So the Class 4 license from the MFSA emphasizes on Kyrrex's compliance and regulatory requirements. So what changes should we expect after MiCA adoption in the European countries?
I think this is a huge step, and maybe a huge, how to say, challenge for a big amount of market players. The point is that there is like some pros and cons if you speak about the industry. And of course, one part which is maybe we will not like as a community, that it will bring some rules how you need to work in the industry, especially if we speak about crypto fiat exchange, custody of funds, about client verification process and stuff like that. But from another point, we have another situation that the regulation, very important part, is to secure the end user. It's to help to the end user to understand that these companies are making everything with certain rules, and they are good, and people will understand 100% that, okay, this company have transparent audit, they have transparent funds, because all the things which will start to see since 2020, I think, when a lot of big companies, big, it's multi-billion companies who come to the market, and they was close to destroy this market in one case, okay? And we don't know how many these hidden bombs we have inside the projects at the moment, because all this, how to say, proof of reserves information and everything is not audited. Nobody knows what is inside. And this part is very important, to come to the next step, because also if we speak about institutional investments, institutional money flows, it's very hard to achieve this if you don't have a proper instance and possibility, to work in a regulated way. So this is a big difference. And that's the same as we had, ETF in US. Why everybody wants this? Because this is the way how institutional funds can invest into the Bitcoin without any restriction. Because spot Bitcoin, some of them, due to their policies, they cannot invest, but ETF, they can. So this is just a step how we can have a very big money inflows and asset inflows into the industry. So regulation, from the good point, it's bring possibility first to define which company really meets all the requirements and have transparent structure, and also to have possibility to bring a big institutional and corporate funds into the industry using these companies. Okay, we have this very good situation, but we have around, if we speak about Europe, around 2,000 WASPs, it's virtual asset service providers,
Yes.
who not at the moment MiCA compliant. So it will be a very tough situation at the beginning of next year when all these hundreds of companies will be not able to provide services to their clients, and it will be a mess for the first, I think, 6, maybe to even 12 months, because local authorities, they will be not able to review all the submissions, all the applications in fast way. So I think that some companies, big companies, already start this process right now, but also it's not a time frame to receive a proper regulation in 6 months now, and already a big queue with some authorities who are already MiCA compliant, like Malta, like France. So, I think that the beginning of next year will be extremely interesting process in Europe, especially regarding this. As I told you, we have 2,000 WASPs around, and we have 10, 15 who are already MiCA compliant. So
All right.
another point, which is for me really interesting, that this kind of the law which they prepare, it's really very good, to have an example for other markets. So it means that maybe in US, in UK, in I don't know, Turkey, India, and other markets, for them will be much easier now to have a regulation, because you know that, for example, in India, it's crypto now it's banned, so it's big problem to work with the crypto, and we can understand, because a lot of companies working without regulations, they can damage. Cause a very, very big damage to the community, as it was, for example, in Turkey 2 or 3 years ago, I think, when huge exchanges with billions of dollars of client assets just disappear, So, of course, they want to protect their citizens, from this kind of situation and the community. And maybe with this kind of rules, it will be much easier for them to have an example and to build based on the MiCA rules, their legislation, because at the end of the day, same as the fintech and finance regulation, in almost all the countries, we have very similar rules. Maybe difference is only some capital requirements, some limits, but in general, the same things you have in the regulation. So I hope that it will also bring more clarity in some markets, and will open these markets for the crypto, because this is the problem. We have a big demand in India, we have big demand in Turkey, but there is no possibility to work properly. Maybe in Turkey now it's 50-50, but India, it's huge market without a proper access to the market, to the crypto assets. So I think it will be a very good step.
All right, so let's talk about also the watchdogs of MiCA. So as we know, some of the changes are significant, and of course are placing new burdens on the local authorities, who are not, sometimes don't know what to do. Let's just put it that way. So which countries are the first to align requirements in their regulatory regulation for digital asset service providers under MiCA, and why? Because I think you mentioned Malta and France first.
And I think at the moment also Liechtenstein, so 3 countries at the moment, they're aligned with the rules. And if we speak about another authority, this is really a big challenge for them to change the way, because before that, there is certain countries who just, with 10-20,000 euro, you can open company, receive WASP license, and begin your business without any kind of audits, without any kind of monitoring. And this is the kind of rules which is not this is, I would say fake regulation. Okay, and of course after these changes, they need to have a big difference, especially in their internal. It's not only about to prepare the rules, it's also about to have a people inside the authority who can evaluate everything, who can check these documents, who can verify these documents, who can verify the process, who can make this compliance visits, and ask proper questions, and this is a big challenge, even to be honest, it was 2020, 2021, when we was close to receive the license, and it was a big problem, to find, for example, authorized MLRO or compliance officer, and with the knowledge of crypto, because any kind of authority will need to have a PQ of this person,
Yes.
and also to have an interview with him. And for example, you can find a lot of authorized people in this direction, but the problem is you need to have authorized plus a good experience in crypto. And this is a problem. It's not easy to find these people, even right now. Yes, of course, it's, for example, for 10, 20 players, it's easy. But if you will have now the request to have 200, 300 players on the market and everybody wants these people, it will be totally different story, So the same about authority. In authority, it's not only about how to regulate a fintech market. It's about how to regulate crypto and know about crypto. So you need to have people who already know how it works, already knows what is blockchain transaction, how to trace the transaction, everything. So this is a really hard task, not just to copy paste the rules from the MiCA to put as a legal requirements to your authorities, to the companies, and give them license. No, it's also about the process. And I'm happy that, for example, we have a very good open conversation with the Maltese Financial Service Authority. They're really, big. To be honest, even the law which they provide in 2020, 2021 for the crypto companies, for the virtual SSRS providers, it's really the base of MiCA, and we can see that they are very active to build up a proper process. And even they are now understanding about DeFi segment, how to work with that, how to build this process in Europe to make it proper for the people, to use the services, not to have a problem with the services, and to get a good proper products at the end. So this is something which we can say about that.
All right. So let's also talk about other countries and go outside the EU, let's say United States and beyond. So what are the pitfalls a company can face when investigating the US market?
US market is an extremely good question. I think for any project who want to jump into the Web3 and to go, with a growing plan, because of course it's the biggest economy in the world and a very good crypto adoption we have in US. So of course a lot of people want to jump there, but there is something which is not let's say tricky, but there is no crypto regulation at all. This is an important point. So we have only now understanding that Bitcoin is not a security, it's a commodity. We don't have understanding Ethereum is security or commodity. And we have a lot of cases about tokens and platforms who provide these tokens, which can be securities, okay? Not even security, but unregistered securities. So this is a very hard part, which is uncertain, and you need to understand by yourself, to do everything by yourself to be clear that the product which you bring to the market are not breaking, to be honest, unwritten rules. There is no rules. So this is something which is hard, but what I like that even with this, the current situation with the MTL license and how they build up this license, especially for the providers, for the exchange services, this is something really good. They adopt these rules, and at the moment they are working properly. Of course, there is no and maybe something which I would like to have in these rules, a more observation and audit about the software and about the system which are used by the company, which is they don't have, because this kind of regulation don't touch crypto, and of course there is no in regulation information that you need to check about the security of the wallets, what is called hot and other wallets, and there is nothing about that. So anyway, they adopt and they have possibility to enter the market. This is most important part, and this is very good. From another point, I cannot say that in 1 or 2 years we will see a proper regulation for the crypto, especially before the election in US. So it will be only at the end of the year. Then they will start to work on that. Then they will bring the rules. They will discuss it. So at least I think 2 years we will need to wait before we'll have a proper, certain understanding what is what and what you can do, what you cannot do, and how you can do it. Okay, so but of course, also as a Kyrrex, we already started this process in US with MTL license. We got. I cannot say currently it's around 7 or 8 states already. I think that till the end of the May we'll have around 15, 16 states, and we want to expand in this market, but it will be very different strategy and not so aggressively with the products as we have, for example, in Europe, because as I told you, the problem is that there is some rules which you cannot find anywhere.
Yeah, especially you mentioned the elections. I know I saw some news about Robert Kennedy wanting to move all the spending of the government to blockchain if he's elected.
Yes.
So yeah,
this is something, this is something, really what I like that it's about use cases as well, and this is really good. If you have it much easier, to because at least what is the government? Government, it's the people who was elected by the citizens, to
exactly
execute the strategy, okay? And of course, it's not how to them need to check people who doing what, but it's vice versa. It's how citizens can verify what government's doing, So of course, this is something which is really interesting, and blockchain can help with that very easy. And this is much better solution than anything.
Yeah, and I think that is going to come from the US because that's the land of all possibilities. Where next week there was also a news that Consensus or something like that has filed a lawsuit against the US Securities and Exchange Commission about the regulation of Ethereum blockchain because they have no jurisdiction on it. So they are probably going to win that case, and that's going to be something interesting to watch.
Yes.
So yeah, let's see. And also let's also talk about DeepIn. Because we have been touching base since last year in November, October, and it has been growing since then, like the whole adoption and everything. So 2024 is probably set to see developments in this decentralized physical infrastructure network, what is called DeepIn. So how will this technology democratize the access to computing power, and what implications might it have for, let's say, also AI and other advanced technologies?
Yeah, this is also, I think I forgot also to mention when we speak about some trends which we have at the moment, and now it's really very interesting trend, especially because we have 2 points. One point is that we wanna, inside the industry, this is a really use case of blockchain in general.
Yeah.
Within blockchain and within also let's say, what we want to build a smart society, I mean, with all the devices, this is a very good way how it can make a life easier for everyone. And from one point of view, it will bring more possibility to use some, let's say, facility which we have in our devices, which are not used. We have it, but we are not using it for growing of for example, to have a possibility with all this facility to work with the blockchain. This is first point. And second point, to change information, also to make our life easier, because this is something which can bring some information about, I don't know, even about, let's say, your laptop to some authority if you need some help with certain situation, I don't know, legal, another way, doesn't matter. So this is possibility which will be much easier to work with our usual and routine processes, in the life. So for me, for example, the one problem is that we have so strict and hard implemented processes in the government, which is very hard to change. And especially, for example, I can say about the Europe, that Europe, even if you go to the banks, and financial institution, it will destroy your brain if you if you try to use classical banks, because you cannot understand how current year, when you have all these technologies, it can work like this. And this is a problem, but the thing is, this is a possible solution. Only one way, it's to have more investments and more development of these products from the big companies who already own the process. Let's say they own all the process because they already have 10, 20, 30 million of clients. They're using their product. So only this company, for them, it's okay, they need to invest, but once they implement it, you already have this 20, 30 million clients. They will be not forced, they will like to use the services in this way, So this is something which I would like to see. I can say that especially Southeast Asia and now also MENA region, this is some countries which is really interested into that because, for example, let's say Saudi Arabia, last 3-4 years, they understand that they need to diversify their economy, and they start to invest into this. They don't have nothing in some directions, and this is very good because they don't need to change. They need to build from the scratch, and they can start to build from the scratch already with the current technologies. And this is something some countries which can really push and be on the top in the next 5-10 years within this technology.
And learn from the experience of others.
Yeah.
All right. So let's also talk about the ZK, the zero knowledge, and the ZKP, zero knowledge proof. So with this technology is actually revolutionizing data security. And I just want to ask, how do you see this ZKP impacting data privacy and confidentiality in several industries? Let's also talk about the healthcare and banking system, because I think that's where most of the data needs to be secured.
Yes, this is, I mentioned about ZK, and this is a very good trend at the moment. And of course, still at the moment, right now we have the situation that it's more hype than real use cases. But
of course,
without this, it cannot work. Also, Ethereum was hype in 2016, 17, okay? And now it's different. So the same story right now, it's just hype. But if you dive deeply, understand it's not only a hype about the token price and a lot of projects and all this launchpad sales, airdrops and stuff like that. So really the best case that you can, the main point of this technology, of course, that you can verify let's say, transaction in the meaning, not financial transaction, the transition of information. You can verify the transition of information and verify the information without disclosing it. So it means that before that, private data you cannot transfer through the blockchain because all information are disclosing to the community. In this case, it's different story. And of course, it's much easier, especially we have this, we speak about banking, crazy GDPR rules. So you are fully responsible for any private data which you keep. So you need, it's huge fines if some information just go out from the database. You will have a huge fine. Not somebody, you cannot tell that somebody broke your base, doesn't matter. You are responsible. So of course, this is the possibility, to change it. First it's impossible to hack the blockchain at the moment, and of course we're happy with that. So this is a possibility how you can do it and not have to have the problem with these GDPR rules, and not to have problem with data leaking from the database. And for the security, it's amazing thing. So that's why for the banking, once it will be properly implemented in the transition of the client KYC data, AML data, which you can put exactly into the contract, so it will be much easier to keep, to store, and to secure this information. And also, another point which will be much easier, this is a verification and compliance process, because you have already one profile of the client related to his wallet, and he can share it with all the financial institutions or other institutions which he is using, and not to pass every process. Now I go to the one bank, I provide your starting from the very easy, like your ID or passport and proof of address, and then you start source of wealth, source of funds, this document, this document, these documents. And when you go to another financial institution, doesn't matter. They will ask the same documents, and you need to provide the same documents, and all the time, any kind of thing you can do it. So with this technology, you can have this, let's say, the sample of these documents inside your contract, and of course, it will be easier to communicate with this kind of things, and not to do all the process every time. Of course, maybe it's 5 minutes. For somebody, it's 5 minutes. For somebody, it's 20, 30 minutes. It depends. And anyway, it takes time, and it's annoying users. Another point, healthcare, is truly another story, because in healthcare, it's even more strict to keep the private data than in banking industry. And so this is really a next user case, and of course, it will be much easier also to transit the information, for example, if people traveling, and stuff like that, because now we have a different world and people traveling a lot, living in different countries,
Yep.
and you can very easy to have your healthcare data, which is very important for you as a could be a certain monument to bring to the hospital, in different countries, and to show that you have this and this situation, and a special, I know some specialty, what you can have, what you cannot have, and as I told you, and one important thing that to bring it, it's not only to build the project who will do it.
Yeah.
That you need to implement these processes into the companies, doesn't matter, healthcare companies, biotech companies, or it will be banks, to implement this service inside their infrastructure. And this is much harder, because this is something which is really interesting. To create a token, NFT doesn't matter, or this is very easy. No need to wait to do a lot of things. And it's very easy, and no need also a good quality. Or some special understandings to create this token. But if we speak about implementation, this is something which is more takes more time, and especially a huge budgets for the companies, because it changed a lot into their.
Yep.
Maybe some banks, they have some really in Europe. A lot of banks, they're using software which was built, maybe even 2000s, okay, maybe even before that, and they're using still. So for them, to say that, guys, you need to change and to use the blockchain with the APIs, they will say, what is API, first. So this is something which is I think will be more applicable in the countries who trying to be all the time with the actual technology. And as I told you, this is, I think, Southeast Asia for me. US, I think, could be a good spot. MENA region, who are trying now to invest a lot into this. So this is the countries where it will start, but not the countries where we still have very archaic and old systems, into the implemented into the I don't know how to say, into all the processes, let's say.
All right, so let's also talk about the real world application of optimism and ZK. So could you give some specific examples of how this synergy could maybe optimize real world problems, particularly in the supply chain management or healthcare?
Yeah, so I think that we already mentioned about healthcare, and
Yes.
this is about optimism. Optimism, it's not, let's say, maybe optimism, it's more about how to optimize the transactions, so because optimism rollups, they allow you to make faster and cheaper transactions inside the blockchain. So this is something which could be a game changer for the transactions infrastructure all over the world, which we have now with a MasterCard, for example, and they are charging good fees. I mean, good not for the for the users, but good for for them. And I think that this is something which can bring a good improvement into this direction, especially transactions. If we speak about ZK, as we mentioned, especially, and maybe, okay, come back to the optimism. Optimism also could be good for logistics, because, for example, in logistics, sometimes you don't need, let's say, zero knowledge part, which is not disclosing the information. So, for example, just to make a faster supply chain and to receive the information about all the things about, for example, I know, even if you start from the transition of agricultural products, which need to be with a certain quality, and for example, which have some very short term of usage, so you need to do it properly. You can have because I think that also one project was in our fund, which was related, especially, they online checks the environment and also the condition of the agricultural products, during logistics, and through the blockchain you fast receive also information, understand what kind of product you will receive at the end of the day, and also during the delivery, and what quality you will have at the end of the delivery. So this is something which is really can because a lot of problems now with the centralized logistics systems we have, nobody knows about this problem because it's probably not, when we are going to the supermarket, and trying to buy something, we don't know
Exactly.
what was the problems and how many products was just destroyed during the logistics. But this is something which is really important and can bring much more efficiency to these processes. So about the K, I think, yes, the two most interesting directions, it's of course the banking system and transition of personal data in financial institutions, and verification, and of course the data in healthcare. And I don't know, at the moment I cannot say that there is, maybe it could be also applicable for the social media, because now, for example, the point is that in social media there is a lot of fake accounts, and stuff like that. So, and this is the opportunity when you can disclose that you are the proper person within this account. And also just a situation which has caused my friends, when they account in social media with thousands of subscribers or even more, was banned because some people just trying to steal the account and stuff like that. So this is the way how you can do it. No need. You have just one transaction with all the information. No need even to disclose this information, and everything done. So this is something which is really can also bring a lot of. From one point of view, it will be privacy for the people. From another point, you will really verify that you is you, and you have this account and you are working with that. So for the social media and for the future of social networks, it will be really also huge improvement, I think.
All right, let's also touch base on IoT, Internet of Things, and gaming, because when you started, you also mentioned the gaming part. So how is the IoT and benefiting the blockchain integration, and are there any new opportunities that are opened up in the gaming industry thanks to blockchain?
Oh, this is a really huge part, because I think that blockchain technology and IoT, this is something which is really was gaming is the first industry which need to really implement these technologies, and this is the part where really NFTs. I mean, this is also was a big hype back then, but now we have a huge downgrade of of all the NFTs because of lack of use cases. And this is in gaming industry, this is a really a good thing for use cases. Just maybe a very small example, but this is something what we can see in the future of, especially let's say a gaming industry and sport simulators in gaming industry. For example, I know football, NFL, NBA, doesn't matter. So you have at the moment there is some legal things related to the clubs and players, and especially I think now the biggest is Electronic Arts, who are doing all this things. Yeah. So the point is that the contract for the image rights mostly now held in especially if you speak about team games. So all the contracts need to be signed not with a particular player, but with the team, because and this is something especially big problem in the football, and football association of players, football players, they want to change it, because when you sign the contract with a football club, all the image rights belongs to the club, and they want to change it to have separately football club image is the football club image rights, and player is player. So it means that if you want to play, I know that now they're not called FIFA, but FC24. If you want to play with a particular club, okay, they sign with the club. But if you want to play with this player or this player, you need to have image rights of this player to play within this character in this game. So, and in this case, how to sign hundreds of thousands of players in one game? I think that they need to hire, I know, tens of thousands of lawyers all over the world, to sign with everyone, to use their name, surname, and stats, to play in this game. And of course, NFT is a different story, because, for example, if I want to play with these 11 players or 20 players with a bench, I can buy NFT of every player, send to my wallet into the game. It's just, let's say, we speak not even about football or this game, but so I buy NFTs of all these players, I send to my wallet, and I can use them inside the game. I buy NFT of football club or NBA basketball club, doesn't matter. I send to my wallet and I can play within this club. And this is a different way. Of course, game development companies, they are not happy with that because at the moment, there is no, how to say, they are main beneficiary of the all the payments inside the game. But the point is that now we can see that world is really changing, especially with the social media, and everybody understands that it's different story than it was back then before. And for of course for the football clubs, it was easier just to sell some rights in one game to have a better advertising and also to earn some money. But now we can see that it's totally different world, and also players and clubs, they want to receive more beneficiary or less or up to the situation with the market. And for them, it will be not anymore just a game. It will be a game plus social platform. And NFTs and blockchain this is the way how you can really bring it to the table and to make it easier and not to, as I told you, to have a lot of contracts which will hold one company and with all of these assets. And so this is just one small example which we are also searching and looking for. Maybe we will not start with football because already you have some players, but we want to start with some other games. We are looking for other games, to build up this business model. And because, as I told you, in the future, it's not only the game, it's a really social platform. And this is different. Of course, there is a lot of rumors about blockchain and Web3 elements in new Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. I think that they, of course, they currently they not disclosing any information about that, but I think that if they will decide to build something, I mean, not of course not just regular campaign, but if you speak about online direction and they will put something related to NFTs or blockchain, it will be really huge and very good example of connection and really real gamify project, not just, as I told you, Axie Infinity is a good project. I'm not telling this is bad, but it's about not about the game. It's not so interesting to play, but if you put in already interesting to play, so now people just putting money into the games and don't have nothing from them. So it's just interest to play. So if you have this game and you bring Web3 elements there, it's totally different story.
Exactly. So you guys are definitely fostering innovation. We talked about a lot of things today, and I'm really happy about it. So let's also talk about Kyrrex. So you guys, as a leader at Kyrrex, you guys are at the forefront of providing regulated crypto services. So how does your platform support the ongoing innovations and maybe also ensure compliance with regulatory frameworks?
Yeah, so this is also a good question, and we also I mentioned before about our small our VC, also about some directions where we invest, and also not only invest but we participate, and because all the time we want to be we want to understand current trends on the market. We want to be, all the time within the community. I mean, not only community, of course, of users, but also in the community of creators. I mean, of developers, of the founders of new projects. And we see the biggest target is to bring projects inside our ecosystem. So even, for example, we are one of the company who are doing. We are regulated, we are compliant and transparent. In the same way, we are using blockchain technology inside our infrastructure, centralized infrastructure, to make easier. This is something which is really, I don't know, maybe some other companies doing that, but from the regulated one, I don't know who are doing the same story. So we have blockchain technology inside our treasury system and transactions, internal transactions and monitoring implemented. So all the time we are trying not just to sell and buy tokens, with the idea of speculation, but also we are putting technology inside our own infrastructure. And of course, we have internal team. You asked about the compliance and In this case, you have all the time not only your own employees in the team, but also you have external people who all the time, at least twice a year, will check everything what you are doing. Is everything okay? And just a small example, how precise it's monitoring of regulated company. You have separate server which it's called live audit log server. So this live audit log server have all the actions inside your system, especially from the back office, which is nobody can have access except some special certified people, and especially from external authority. So they have 24/7 access to check everything what's going on, who are doing what. For example, if some employee doing some wrong things and stuff like that, they will have information about that. So everything is up to be more transparent, and to be secure for the end user. This is something about regulation which I really like mostly, that, it's not only about to have a license and show, oh, I'm a license, so that's why I will do a KYC and I will check you. No, it means that you fulfill all the requirements and you are really company who will bring a good service to the market, and not to make something bad, to steal money, to hide some money and stuff like that. This is, for me, it's, I think, most important in this direction.
All right, so you're basically not just preaching water and drinking wine, you're actually doing it.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good to hear. So, like I told you at the beginning, we usually give the question about the future at the end of the podcast. So, we did it at the beginning, but I have a different ending question for you now. Let's look beyond 2024, because we blinked twice and it's already December and the year has gone by, and we're in 2025. So what long-term goals for Kyrrex have you planned? And how do you plan to continue influencing the crypto and also the gaming industries?
Yeah, really good question. What if we speak about especially Kyrrex, our long term is we are trying to build, not trying, we are building, we are building, let's say, one-stop shop or super app for financial services, and we are all the time researching and looking at the regulation and legislation process to bring as much as possible kind of services into our application. It's not easy, especially because when you are trying to touch crypto, then you have a much harder way to join the traditional financial market licenses. Anyway, we are in process, so we are already in process to receive very important thing for the Europe. It's derivatives. It's called MiFID license for the trading of traditional financial assets. So it means that, for example, now I don't know any kind of crypto exchange who are able to provide futures or perpetuals trading in Europe, regulated one. Of course, even I think unregulated as well, they have problems. So this is one interesting point which within this license will help us to bring this product to the clients easily, and also to do it transparently, because this is something which is, I think, the biggest black box of the crypto market at the moment. This is unregulated derivatives. And I hope that it will also not damage the market so hard as it was with the previous situation with Luna, FTX, and I think these two biggest problems was. So, our strategy is to receive these licenses and to provide this kind of services within one company. Because, why traditional financial companies, they scary, even if you just make everything properly, you pay all the taxes from the crypto and stuff like that. And most of the banks, they or not like to receive any kind of funds from that, or they will destroy your brain, they destroy your mind about all the questions. And the reason is because they don't understand the risks. Only one thing, they don't understand the risk totally. And of course, that's why they're afraid. And from our point of view, when we receive this license, we understand the risk of all the activities. We understand the both crypto side and both traditional financial side. So we can evaluate this risk and we can manage that. So this is a different story. And that's why we want to bring this product to make life easier for the people who are, especially in Web3, So also, we are heavily looking into the gamified direction. This is, as I told you, something which is really interesting, and we saw that just Web2 gaming growing every year, and Web3 gaming will grow, also growing much faster, and I think will grow as well, and maybe will also take some good part from the Web2 gaming as well, also the developing of the blockchain and optimization of the blockchain technology, which everybody I think wanna see, because when you have a swap into the decentralized exchange, Ethereum-based decentralized exchange, which costs $100, or $50, everybody will say, "Oh, it's because of the gas fee, because now it's very overloaded." But nobody cares. In Visa, Mastercard, there is not something like that. They don't care.
Exactly.
10 million transactions per day, nobody tells you. So you have the same fees every day. So this is when we speak about $2, $3, $5, it's one story. But when you pay $50, $100 for a smart contract, it's something crazy. And especially we want to have more adoption. So we will not have more adoption with this kind of fees, because people would not like to pay for just an exchange of $1,000 or $2,000 for the smart contract, $100, $150, for the smart contract. So execution. And this is the point which I think really important to improve. And of course, as we discussed, that the K-Optimism rollups, they will bring this facility into the market. And now they're starting, somebody launched, somebody will launch at the end of the year. So I think that next year we'll see a real influence of these changes on the market, and it will really bring a much bigger and better adoption, into the crypto market as well.
All right. So, Mike, thank you so much for this podcast. I really enjoyed it. Usually we do 30-35 minutes when we record a podcast, but every time when we get an expert such as yourself on blockchain, we talk about for an hour, and this is the best part. We have the biggest audience usually at these 1 hour blockchain related recordings. So I think our audience will definitely say thank you to you and look you up on LinkedIn. So if you have some parting words that you maybe would like to give a shout out to your team, just be my guest.
I think that the most important thing to say is, to keep building the industry, and we have the price going up and down, but we see that industry is growing, and look at all the time we need to look at the adoption, how many people open new wallets, and this number all the time is growing. Doesn't matter, bear market, bull market, doesn't matter. So keep building and doing proper way, and everything will be very good into the industry, long term.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you for our audience for joining. And we will be back next week with more stuff. Thank you so much. Bye.
And that's a wrap for this section of Hipther Talks. Thank you for being a part of our journey today. Don't forget to tune in next week for more insights and discussions. Stay connected with us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. Until then, keep exploring and keep growing. We'll see you next time.